So, we're doing this review on Grammarly, and I figured what better way to do a review than to actually show me using the product. So, we're going to use the Grammarly free version, and you can actually watch me write this review right now. Skip around to get to the parts where you like. I sometimes ramble on in this review, talking about stuff over and over again, like I'm rambling right now. In the description, there is some additional content that you might find more relevant than watching the entire review. This is more like a summary somewhat. It compares the free version with some basic edits versus the premium version doing some basic edits like grammar checking and punctuation checking and spell checking. Now there is a difference between the free version and the premium version with basic editing, basic grammar checks, basic punctuation checks, and not so much. There's no difference that I noticed with the spelling check. Spelling check is on point on free version and a premium version, but you do get better grammar checking, punctuation check with the premium version. So you may want to check that video out. The link for that video is down in the description box down below. So make sure you check that video out down there. I wrote the entire review using Grammarly Free and Grammarly Premium. What I did was I wrote the entire review in Grammarly Free, and then I ran that review that I wrote with Grammarly Free through Grammarly Premium to check and see if there was anything that Grammarly Free missed. It's a pretty good comparison, I like to think. So you should check that out. That's in the written review, link down in the description below. That's on the website. And there's also a link so you can download Grammarly on that website as well. So make sure you check that out. And yeah, let's get to it. Let's get right into this review for Grammarly. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's add it to Chrome. It is free. We'll get it from the Chrome store. Add to Chrome. Add extension. Where is it? It's checking. It's doing its thing over here. Done. Now we gotta log in. We will continue with Google, or you can create an email. You can create an account however you want to do it, but we'll use Google, and I will use a different login information this time so that we can start from the beginning. Alright, so this is the setup process right here. Alright, so when you're first setting up Grammarly, it asks you a few questions to help better serve your needs. So if you use Grammarly mostly for school, you're writing a lot of research papers and essays and stuff like that, then you would select school. Or if you use it for work, you would use work. Other projects, you can select other projects as well. I don't think your selection here will affect what you end up with at the end of the installation process or at the end of the setup process for your account. So I'm just going to select work. I'm not going to select other projects because I don't do it for work and I don't use it for school. But I don't think it's going to make a difference with the setup process either way. And then I'll hit continue. And I want help with select all that apply. So I want help with spelling and grammar, sounding fluent, clear communication, plagiarism, synonyms, tone and delivery, conciseness. I don't know what other is, but we'll select it anyway. We'll select everything because I want help with everything. I want help identifying when I sound. Select all that apply. Informative, friendly, defensive, angry, forceful, and neutral. See, the cool thing about Grammarly is that it reads the article as you're writing it, or reads the letter or email or whatever it is that you're trying to write. It reads it as you're writing it, and it judges it using artificial intelligence to let you know what the tone of the article is. Even though you may not be paying attention, well, I'm sure you're paying attention, but even though you may not realize it, but you may sound a certain way, such as angry, and you don't want to sound angry unless that's what the intent for the article is, or the intent for the letter is angry. Or forceful or neutral. I mean, typically you'd want to be informative and friendly, not so much defensive, but it'll let you know if that's, if that's what it's picking up from reading your article. And it'll let you know, and it'll make suggestions for improving your article to make it less angry or forceful or neutral. Select your primary language. We will go with English. We will hit continue. Now take your writing from good to great. Unlock all features of premium or continue with a free plan for basic correction. Basic corrections for you. You get spelling, grammar, confused words, check usage of commonly misused words. Now with the advanced corrections for you, you get plagiarism detection, readability detection, inappropriate tone. It adjusts the tone of your writing. This is pretty much self-explanatory. Make every sentence easy to read. Vocabulary enhancement. Find vibrant words to enliven your message. Let's see what all of the features are for the premium version. We got conciseness, readability, compelling vocabulary, lively sentence, variety, delivery, tone detection, confident language, politeness, formality level. You know what? I'm going too fast. So with conciseness, there's an example right there. Oops, let's leave that highlighted. It may happen that we need to decide tomorrow. Now, it says there that you can actually cut that sentence down to we may need to decide tomorrow. Being a little bit more direct, not so wordy, more concise. So that's what you get with the conciseness feature under the premium version. Or actually, you get that in the free version as well. Yeah, you get the conciseness feature under the free version as well. So that's a good thing right there. And I did notice that it was taking some of my sentences and making it less wordy when I was using the free version. So that's there as well. Now, readability, you do not get that with the free version. There's an example of what readability would do for you. You can improve your website's discoverability through a multi-stranded approach integrating social media, advertising, and traditional media outreach. Please rewrite the sentence to make it easier to read. It didn't make any suggestions, but it did tell you that you can rewrite the sentence to make it easier to read. Identify sentences that readers may have to reread in order to understand. So yeah, I guess that sentence can be improved, and hopefully it will make some suggestions. Ideally, it would make some suggestions for you to improve that sentence. Typically, when it's underlined like that, there'll be some type of suggestion on the right side as far as what you can do to improve the sentence. It's not showing that there in that example, but I'm pretty sure it's there. Okay, engagement, compelling vocabulary. I am very happy to be part of the team. Now you can change very happy to thrilled, pleased, delighted, any one of those verbs to describe better how you're feeling to be a part of the team. Even though I don't really think very happy is a bad choice of words, but I am thrilled to be part of the team. I am pleased to be part of the team. I am delighted to be part of the team. That actually does sound a little better. So that's a plus right there. Definitely. Lively sentence variety. Oh, too fast. I read an interesting book recently. It was about computers. I usually read novels. Yeah, that sentence is kind of boring. So let's see. 3 sentences in a row. Consider changing the word order. Identify repetitive, monotonous passages and rewrite sentences to add flavor and variety. Yeah, like I said, that sentence is kind of boring. Hopefully, it offers you some suggestions in the premium version, because just pointing out your mistakes is kind of useless if it's not going to offer any real suggestions for you to make any improvements to the sentence. Because at the end of the day, like, you actually wrote that sentence, you thought it was okay, and after they pointed out that it's not okay, you look at it and say, yeah, it could probably be better, but you know, your thought process wasn't there to make that sentence more lively from the beginning. So some suggestions would definitely be helpful with making that sentence better, more lively, and, well, that would improve readability as well, because people will want to continue to read it, and I guess that's kind of considered readability, but yeah, you can improve that sentence. That sentence definitely could use some improving. Delivery, tone detection. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. I noticed that your company is looking for a new marketing manager, and I've decided to throw my hat in the ring. Would you be willing to put in a good word for me, or maybe refer me? Your text sounds formal. Make sure your message sounds the way you want it to. So the tone detection is there in the free version as well, which is a good thing. That's a nice feature to have that you don't get with your basic operating systems, spell checker or grammar checker, because sometimes the basic operating system does. I think it has a little bit of grammar correction as well, not too much, but tone detection is fantastic. See, it said, oh, where is it? It says your text sounds formal. Make sure your message sounds the way you want it to, and the tone detection will do that. That's available in the free version as well as the paid version. Now, you get confident language in the paid version. I think we should be able to solve the issue for you. Instead of using I think, you should be using words like we can, as suggested right there. It does show that it's making suggestions in the confident language feature of Grammarly. So that's a plus, outstanding feature. Okay, what did it say at the bottom? Eliminate hedging language or unnecessary qualifiers to sound more confident. Politeness. I hated the proposal. Hate is kind of a strong word, and you don't want to use that unless you're like really trying to convey the message that you're really angry about something. So you don't really want to use that type of language when you're writing a letter to somebody that you're not trying to convey a real hateful message to. A better word to use, or a better choice of words, would be, I wouldn't say I like the proposal. Choose alternative phrases that come across less harsh or less hurtful in writing. And that does come across less harsh, not as hurtful, and a little bit more professional. Politically correct, you could say. PC. Nothing wrong with being PC when it's appropriate. Formality level. Is there anything else I can do for you? You, that's Twitter talk right there. That's text talk. That's what you would put down if you're limited in space and the amount of characters that you can use. But if you're writing a letter, you're writing an essay, you're not necessarily limited to the amount of letters. You're not necessarily limited to the amount of characters that you can use. So there's no reason for you to be using you, the letter U, instead of you, Y-O-U. So, you'd want to use Y-O-U whenever you can, because that's the correct way to do it. That's just the proper way to put you. It's like, instead of putting 4, F-O-R, you would put 4, the number 4. If you're running out of space, you're sending a text, writing a Twitter message or something like that, where your characters are limited. But you're not limited on space when you're writing a letter or an email, so make sure everything is correct. And this will help you do that. Most people don't make that mistake. Actually, a lot of people do make that mistake nowadays because people are so used to sending text messages and stuff. But this will catch it just in case you don't catch it on your own. Inclusive language. Let's see what that's about. I'm not sure I can't guess what inclusive language would be. Let's see what they decide. Let's see what they suggest. The venue is accessible for guests who are confined to wheelchairs. See, confined, that's like saying it's not so inclusive because it's confined, you're not included. Instead, you should use the word are wheelchair users. The venue is accessible for guests who are wheelchair users instead of confined to wheelchairs. Not to say that being confined to wheelchairs is the wrong choice of words. It's just not the best choice of words for a typical letter to someone that's, when you're talking about a venue, based on, the tone of that sentence. It's probably not the best choice of words. Okay. Correctness, grammar, spelling, and punctuation. That's a standard feature. It should be there, and it is there, even under the free version. You even get that with Windows or Mac or whatever operating system you're using. You get, grammar, spelling, and punctuation corrections built into the system. But this takes it a little bit further, and it works a lot better than what's built into your computer. Whatever's built into your operating system, this works a lot better. Effect, look. Effect would be the wrong word to use when you're trying to use the word affect. I can assure you this won't affect our timeline. effect, affect. It's easy to mix those two up, but they have two different meanings, and you don't want to mix them up. And this will help you with that as well. Consistency in spelling and punctuation. Applications are due July 10th and will decide by the 25th of August. That's not consistent. See, right there, the first one, the first mention of a date, you put the month before the day, and then the second mention of the date, you put the day before the month. So you want to be consistent when you're writing something like that. You want to be more consistent. This will help you with that. This will catch it, which is a pretty good feature. That's not in the free version. It's only in the premium version. And it suggests that you use July 10th to August 25th for both. July 10th, July 1st, which will be the month, and then the day, the 10th, and August, which will be the month, and the 25th, which will be the day. You always want to put it, you want to be consistent. It's pretty self-explanatory. Consistency. Consistency is good. Fix inconsistencies in punctuation, formatting, and spelling throughout your document. Fluency. Fluency. Oh, yeah. Let's be fluent, okay? We've been able to do some progress. Yeah, I don't even like the way that sounds. We've been able to do some progress here. We've been able to make some progress here. That's the better choice of words. Make would be a better choice than do, because it just doesn't sound right. We've been able to do some progress. It doesn't sound right. Ensure your word choices sound natural and fluent. Doesn't sound fluent when you use the word do some progress, because you don't do some progress, you make some progress. I mean, you can do some progress, but it just doesn't sound right. All right. Plagiarism detection, only available in the premium version. Fluency is available in the premium version. Well, I don't really have to point it out. You can see right here what's available in the premium version and what's available in the free version. Now, works where you do. You get the browser extensions for Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and Internet Explorer. It also works on Brave, because Brave browser is a variation of Chrome browser, or Chromium, which is Chrome. So whatever extension you can use on Chrome, you can use the same extension on Brave browser. I'll put a link to in the description for Brave browser. Brave browser is an awesome browser, and there's also going to be a link to to some features about Brave and why you should be using Brave instead of Chrome anyway. But this video isn't about Brave browser, so let's keep it moving. Now, it also works with Microsoft Word and Microsoft Outlook. There's an add-in that you can use with that. Only basic suggestions, basic and advanced suggestions when it comes to the extensions and the add-ons for the applications right there. It also has Google Docs support. Now, that's great because I use Google Docs instead of Word, which is, I mean, it's free. Google Docs is free. Word you have to pay for. Not a big fan of Word. Google Docs is awesome. I can access it anywhere. I don't have to. I'm not sure. I'm sure you could probably do that with Microsoft Word nowadays as well. I'm sure they have. It says Microsoft Outlook add-on, so that's probably online or whatever. I guess it's kind of like a competitor to Google Docs, but I don't know if it's free or not. Anyway, Google Docs support. That's awesome that it has that. And it works for free and a paid version. Native apps for Windows and Mac OS. Now, I couldn't get the application to install on my Windows PC. I even switched my browser to Chrome, and it says that Chrome is supported. It should have worked with Brave. It didn't work with Brave, and it didn't work with Chrome either. Maybe they can fix that in the future. Hopefully, they'll get that straightened out, because it's saying that this browser is not supported, and I can't log in using that browser when I try to install Grammarly. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if there's a workaround for that. I will contact them and see what they have to say about that, and I will update you guys in the video before I post the video, and we'll go from there. I will contact support and see if we can get that straightened out. Keyboard for iOS and Android. I can't do that. I can't install the Android keyboard, the Grammarly Android keyboard on my phone, and we can take a look at that as well. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. And that's pretty much it. That's the differences between the free version and the premium version. Now, the premium version is $11.66 per month, and that is billed on a per month. Oh, that's billed annually, so that would be like $150 something, I believe, or something like that. Let's see, level up with premium. Let's see what options we get. Okay, so annually for the premium, $11.66 per month. billed as one payment of $139.95. Quarterly, you'll be paying $59.95, $19.98 per month, and monthly, it's $29.95 per month. Now, the prices are pretty steep. Obviously, the annual version is the best value. If you're not sure that you want to use Grammarly on a continuous basis and you don't think you'll need it, you don't think you'll need the premium version, I'd suggest you should probably just get 1 month of the $29.95 version, the monthly version for 1 month. Try it out, and if that works out, then I would suggest you upgrade to the annual version. And you maybe even I don't know if this can work or not, but you can try contacting them and just say, hey, I paid for the 1 month, I like it, I want to upgrade to the annual version. Can you offer me some type of compensation to compensate for the 1 month that I paid so that I can get all 12 months at the $11.66 price versus paying $29.95 for 1 month, which essentially is more than 2 months worth of service you just paid for with the 1 month $29.95 price. So definitely worth checking out. And Grammarly Business is $12.50 per month per member. Billed annually, 3-member minimum. Discounted price, monitoring tools, centralized billing, all premium features. So that's something you might want to consider if you're running a business and you have a team of writers and you want to help your writers out. You might want to consider the business plan or the team plan. So that's what we got there with the premium stuff. Let's go back and let's continue to the free version, because that's what we're going to do right now. Alright, so now this is what it looks like when you first set Grammarly up and you log into the app. See, app.grammarly.com. This is what you will be working with here. Ready to write something brilliant? The Grammarly editor helps you turn your ideas into clear, compelling writing. Start a quick tour, skip the tour. Let's start a quick tour, because after all, this is a review. Editing made easy. Get detailed feedback on your writing and apply suggestions with just 1 click. 1 click. Yeah, that's true. You can apply the suggestions with 1 click. Read the suggestions. Make sure that it's appropriate for what you're doing, because after all, this is software, so it might make mistakes. It hasn't made any mistakes yet that I've noticed. When I was making an article, it didn't make any mistakes. But, you always want to double check it before you just go ahead randomly clicking on stuff, because it could make a mistake in your article and it just doesn't know. That's true with all software. Alright, so let's go next. Become a better writer. See your feedback organized into categories that help you identify where your writing is strong and where you can make it stronger. Go beyond grammar. Make your writing clear, compelling, and concise with suggestions customized to your writing goals. Set your goals. Adjust Grammarly's feedback based on your objectives, your target audience, your writing style, and more. Alright, so that wasn't really too much of a tour. That was just more like an explanation of what Grammarly can do for you. I thought it was going to give us like a tour of the actual user interface. So let's start writing. Well, that's a basic description of Grammarly. If I had to sum Grammarly up in just a few short, well-written words, AI-driven, what I have found in my time using and trying to find as much as I can to criticize Grammarly about is that it has and is continuing to make me a better writer grammatically and a better speller. Now, I wouldn't give too much credit to Grammarly when it comes to basic spelling corrections, because that's something that's pretty much standard issue on any device, be it a PC or a mobile phone. But what Grammarly shines at is helping you create exciting and engaging content using the power of artificial intelligence to help spice up your articles or whatever the need may be. Grammarly allows you to set the tone of the article before you even begin your creative process. And for me, the first step usually involves a large cup of Colombian coffee to help get the creative juices going. Yes, I love a good cup of coffee, blah, blah, blah. What I mean by setting the tone of an article, you might be writing an article or an email to a friend, Well, if you're writing an article, if you're writing an email to a friend, it doesn't necessarily have to be grammatically correct, and the use of slang in your email would certainly make things more interesting. However, it probably would not be so appropriate if you were writing a business proposal for a potential new client. Now, with that said, obviously, your article or letter to your potential new client would not, see, it corrected me, obviously, I spelled obviously wrong. Can't give it too much credit. Actually, I can leave that out. It's suggesting that I leave it out. Okay, so let's take that out. Now, with that said, your article or letter to your potential new client would not necessarily need to contain any slang. And in fact, you might not want to use any slang at all. When writing a professional letter or a letter intended for professional use. Okay. In fact, I guess I should put a colon or dash in between there. Oh, let's see what it suggests. Oh, I can get rid of that. I can get rid of in fact altogether. See, it helps you with writing better articles and shortening your sentences. So I spelled it necessarily incorrectly. And in fact. Now, with that said, your article or letter to your potential new client would not necessarily need to contain any slang, and in fact, you might not want to use any slang at all when writing a professional or a letter intended for professional use. When writing a professional letter, it didn't catch that. See, it should have caught that. I would like for it to have caught that. Now, I don't know if the professional version would have caught that. It probably would have caught that. The premium version mentioned over here, it clarity is going down. Yeah, my clarity is going down. I had everything perfect a minute ago until I wrote that second part. The engagement's always been going down. It says it's a bit bland. Hey, I'm trying, man. All right, so let's get rid of in fact, because we don't need that. And it's still, now see, there we go. The clarity went back to 100%. And I can still do a little bit better on the engagement with the article. So let's read it and see what we got here. And let's see if we can get a little better. Now, with that said, your article or letter to your potential new client would not necessarily need to contain any slang. And you might not want to use any slang at all when writing a professional letter or a letter intended for professional use. See, now that sounds much better. That's more coherent. I'm not sure why it didn't pick up on the fact that letter wasn't there after professional. But okay. It's helping out quite substantially as it is. It's doing a pretty good job as it is. Even with the free version, I mean, it's catching a lot of stuff that I didn't catch. Like I could have left in fact out and the article would still be coherent. And it is still coherent. So let's continue. All right. Now, all right, so where was I? Talking about professional and, okay. I think I can sum that up right there because that pretty much explains, that gives you a good overview. I think I can end that paragraph right there because that gives you a pretty good overview of what Grammarly is about. Grammarly is designed to help you improve your writing skills. It can even help you with English. If you're not an English speaker, if English is not your primary language, it's your second language, obviously second language because it's not your primary, or third or whatever. It can help you with that as well because you may be writing articles and it's giving you a hard time. This can help you. This can help teach you. As long as you're paying attention to what you're doing and learning from the corrections that Grammarly is suggesting, this can help you to the point where you may not even need Grammarly. I mean, it's always a great idea to have it as a backup because, you know, people do make mistakes. We're humans after all. So this actually, Grammarly is a fantastic tool. I like it. I mean, it's a lot better than the built-in spell check that you have in most operating systems, you know, Windows PC, mobile phones, iOS, Android, or whatever. It's a lot better than that. It's a lot more intuitive. The suggestions are great. The only thing that I don't like about the free version is that it doesn't work on every single website. And that would be kind of impossible for it to do unless it was fully integrated into the operating system itself. And there is actually a Windows app for Grammarly. I'm not sure if that integrates it into the entire operating system, and I highly doubt that because most applications don't integrate into the entire operating systems, so that you could like do this, right click and get suggestions using the right click function. But this is a review after all, so what I'm going to do right now is actually install the Grammarly application onto my Windows 10 desktop PC, and we'll see what additional functionality we get by using the Windows 10 application. So we'll go to the Windows app, the Grammarly website, and add it to Chrome. We have it on Chrome already. Let's try Grammarly desktop apps. That's what we want right there. Download Grammarly for Windows. So we're going to download that. We're going to install it. I'm going to put it in the downloads folders, then software, and we'll save it there. It's not too big of a file. It's only 45 megabytes in size. Looks like it's pretty much done installing already. Alright, so I am a Grammarly member. I am going to log in with my Google account. Should recognize that. Put my email address in there. This browser or app may not be secure. Learn more. Try using a different browser if you already blah blah blah. Oh, come on, Google. Give me a break with this. This is ridiculousness. Let's try it again. What did I do with it? See, they need to fix that. That tells me that they're not really testing the app as well as they could. So that's something they can improve on, because if it's telling me that this browser is not really secure and it won't let me log in, where's the problem here? You know what I mean? It's got to be the software. Unless it's because I have Brave browser set up as my default application for web browsing. It still doesn't work. Even with Chrome set to the default browser, I cannot install Grammarly on my computer. I don't know why. I'm getting this message. You see it right here. This browser or app may not be secure. Could not sign in. Try using a different browser if you're already using a supported browser. You can refresh your screen and try again to sign in. I don't see a refresh button. So, well, I won't be installing the Grammarly desktop app because that's not going to work. So let me reset my browser back. Well, we won't get to see what the additional functionality for the Grammarly application is for the software version because it won't install. That sucks. But the features that you get for the Chrome extension is pretty robust. I would recommend it even without the application, even without the desktop application. The website here, it's app.grammarly.com, and it gives you an editor, so you can write your articles right here. Undo, paste, select, all of that. You have some functionality. You can bold, italic, underline. You know, a basic editor, a basic text editor. You have that right here, built into the Grammarly application. Now, the second part of the video is going to be me doing a review on the premium version. So, stay tuned for that. So, now that we've pretty much finished the review for Grammarly, we use mostly the free version to do the first half of the review. Now we're going to run the review through Grammarly Premium and see what kind of corrections are suggested by using Grammarly Premium. So what I'm going to do is just pretty much copy and paste and see what happens. Let's start with a new document. We'll do new, and then we will copy and paste the first half. right away we get a pop-up, as you can see on the screen right here, asking us to set goals for our article. And automatically it's reading the article. It looks like it's reading the article and making suggestions for the audience. The audience will be knowledgeable because it's yeah, I guess that's correct. Let's see. Audience, general, knowledgeable, expert. I'm going to say general. Easy for anyone to read with minimal effort. So we're going to shoot for an audience that's general, because this program is designed for writers, beginners, students, professionals. So the audience will be general, not just for the knowledgeable or the expert audience. So general, I think, suits our needs just fine. Formality: informal, neutral, formal. I'm going to go with informal. Informal allows slang and other more casual usages. Domain: academic, business, general, technical, casual, creative. Academic is grayed out. Not sure why that's not available. General is the default. Applies most rules and conventions with medium strictness. Domain. Let's go with the casual domain. Or creative. I like creative. Allow some intentional bending of rules and conventions. Tone. What kind of tone do I want it to have? I want it to be confident. Can I do both? I can do confident and optimistic. You can do more than one. That's pretty cool. I like that. Let's see what it says. Experiment. How do you want to sound? This helps us build new suggestions and won't affect your feedback today. So let's go with confident and optimistic. And friendly. Yeah, those three work well. Intent: inform, describe, convince, tell a story. We are attempting to inform about the usage, about how good Grammarly actually is. Okay, so we're going to stick with that. Experimental: what are you trying to do? This helps us build new suggestions and won't affect your feedback today. All right. Show set goals when I start a new document. Sure, we'll leave that there. Reset the defaults. No, we're going to leave that as is, the way we set it right now. All right, so we are done with setting the goals. Now let's see what suggestions are made through Grammarly. See, now I thought I did a pretty good job. I'm seeing a lot of underlining, a lot of suggestions, and yeah. So what do we have here? Let's start there with Grammarly's. What's that? Inconsistent punctuation. You use two different styles of apostrophes or quotation marks in your document. Both styles are acceptable, but it's best to be consistent. All right, so let's try some consistency here. Straight. Grammarly's, that's, would, 8 matches. Curly. Grammarly. I don't get that part right there. Inconsistent punctuation. Do I want to update all? Click to use consistent punctuation. It was talking about the quotes, the way I use the quotes. So I guess I don't see an option for me changing the quote to straight quote or a curly quotation mark when I did the article. So I don't know what that's about. But anyway, it's convenient, nice to have. Replace punctuation. No, we're going to leave that alone because that is part of that quote that we just mentioned. That would be a basic description. Okay, I like that would be. That does sound better. It's more fluent. This sentence appears to be a mixed conditional with the past tense verb had in the if/when clause and the present tense verbs in the other clause. Consider using the modal would, or rewrite the if/when clause in the present tense. This sentence appears to be a mixed conditional with a past tense verb had in the if/when clause and the present tense verb apostrophe S in the other clause. Consider using the modal would or rewrite the if/when clause in the present tense. Okay, that would be a basic description of Grammarly if you had to sum Grammarly up in just a few short words. It's just a few short, well-written words. So let's see what it's suggesting here. Now, I wouldn't give you too much credit. I wouldn't give too much credit to Grammarly when it comes to basic spelling corrections, because that's something that's pretty much standard issue on any device, be it a PC or a mobile phone. Hard to read sentence. A general audience might find this sentence hard to read. Consider removing any unnecessary words, splitting it into two sentences. Is it hard to read? I don't think that sentence is difficult to read. Let's see what kind of improvements I can make on that sentence. I see right here, I can do this. Now, I wouldn't give too much credit to Grammarly when it comes to basic spelling corrections. What's wrong with basic? When it comes to necessary spelling corrections. Okay, necessary works. That fits. Because that's something that's pretty much standard issue on any device, be it a PC or a mobile phone. But what Grammarly shines at, okay, so that's fine. I don't need to reread the entire article. Let's go and move on. Article, item, material. Grammarly offers you to set the tone of the article, the tone of the material, the tone of the item, before you even begin with your creative process. What's wrong with article? The word article appears repeatedly in this text. Consider using a synonym in its place. So I use article too much. So what? I like the word article and it fits. But, you know, it's a good suggestion. Let's put it in there. Let's make some suggestions so we're not repetitive. Okay, so yeah, we don't want to be repetitive. Let's put a different word in place of article. Let's use alright, so that's substituted, and I'm gonna go with item instead. Before you even begin with your creative process, and for me, comma, I don't know if that's correct. A general audience might find this sentence hard to read. Consider breaking it into two. Maybe they're not giving you guys too much credit. I don't think you guys would find this difficult to read. It doesn't seem too difficult to read. And I don't know. I'm no genius, but I don't think it's very difficult to read. It flows pretty well. Grammarly offers you to set the tone of the item before you even begin with your creative process. And for me, alright, admittedly so, that is better. Grammarly offers you to set the tone of an item before you begin with the creative process. Begin with your creative process. For me, the first step usually involves a large cup of Colombian coffee to help get my creative juices going. What do I mean by setting the tone of an article? You might be writing an article or an email to a friend. Well, if you're, okay, let's see what they suggest here. That is a little bit difficult to read. I can admit that that's difficult to read. So let's see what the suggestions are for making that easier to read. A general audience might find this sentence hard to read. Consider splitting it into two sentences, using simpler synonyms for grammatically. No, I'm not going to dumb that word grammatically down because the sentence is explaining what the word means. The pretext is explaining exactly what grammatically means. You can pretty much figure out what grammatically means based on the entire content of the article. So I'm going to leave that suggestion there, this word, grammatically, and maybe split the sentence into two. You might be writing an article or an email to a friend, and we can do this. But if you are, I'm not changing. Okay, we could use a synonym essay. That's fine. Who writes an essay to a friend, but okay. You might be writing an essay or an email to a friend, but if you are writing an email to a friend, no, let's go back and undo. Is there a double space there? Yeah, there's a double space. You might be writing an article or an email to a friend. Yeah, this sentence is difficult to read. I can just drop the first part of this sentence. What do I mean by setting the tone of an article? Drop this first part. Capitalize that. If you are writing an email to a friend, it doesn't necessarily have to be. If you are writing an article, an email, essay, or letter to a friend, it doesn't necessarily have to be grammatically correct, and the use of slang in your email would certainly make things more interesting. Now I think that's a little easier to read. What do I mean by setting the tone of an article? If you're writing an essay, if you're writing an email, essay, or a letter to a friend, it doesn't necessarily have to be grammatically correct, and the use of slang in your email would certainly make things more interesting. Now, let's see, it didn't. And, okay, friend. That looks good. I'm going to ignore that one because I like the word grammatically. I like the word grammatically. It makes me sound smarter. Alright, so we're going to ignore that one. Let's see what we got for certainly. It would certainly make things more interesting. Undoubtedly make things more interesting. See, it would recommend the word undoubtedly, but certainly isn't good enough. The word certainly is often overused. Consider using a more specific synonym to improve the sharpness of your writing. Okay, we can go with undoubtedly. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link in here to I'm going to put both of these articles on top of each other. The original one that was written with the free version, and down at the bottom, I'm going to put the improved article that was written with the premium version, and you guys can decide which one you think is the better article, which one you think is easier to read, which one is better written, and you know, just leave your comment down below. There's a comment box down below, Facebook comment plugin. You can use that to leave your comments. So let us know what you think is the better written article, the more appropriately written article. You can leave, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave your comments down below in the YouTube section. If you're watching it on the website where the written review is, and I highly advise you to check out the entire article with the written review on the website, so that you can see and read it for yourself instead of, you know, just reading the words on the YouTube screen, on the screen right now from me. writing this article in the premium version. So check out the website. The link is down below in the description, and you can see the entire article, read the article yourself, read the free version of the article that was written with the free version of Grammarly, and then at the bottom you can read the premium version of the article, which is written with the premium version of Grammarly. So there's that. Now, with that said, your article or letter, right here, this is where we are. Now, with that said, your article or letter to your potential new client would not necessarily need to contain any slang. You might not want to use any slang at all when writing a letter intended for professional use. And you might not want to. This is a little difficult to read. It's not very fluent. I agree. Hard to read sentence. I'm on board with that one. A general audience might find this sentence hard to read. Consider removing any unnecessary words, splitting it into 2 sentences. I think we can split this into 2 sentences, and that will make this a little bit more fluent. Improve our clarity. See, our clarity could use some improvement right there. Correctness, we still have 3 alerts for the correctness. And we're only on the first paragraph of the article that was written with the free version of Grammarly. So let's keep moving. Let's keep trucking along. Now, with that said, your article or letter to your potential new client would not necessarily need to contain any slang. Now, with that said, should I put a period there? And put this. The article, now with that said, the article or letter to your potential new client would not necessarily need to contain any slang. Let's get rid of and put you. You might not want to use any slang at all when writing a letter intended for professional use, a message intended for professional use. When writing a message intended for professional use. I think the word letter is more appropriate for the sentence. Because typically you write letters that's intended for professional use. I'm going to ignore that one. We're going to trash that suggestion right there. I don't like that one. Letter fits better. I think it fits better. And you know, that's the cool thing about Grammarly. You can take their suggestions, read it over, and if it makes sense to you, you can use it. Because a lot of times their suggestions are pretty good, very good in fact. So I'm not going to use that suggestion in this instance because I just don't think it fits that sentence very well. You can let me know down below in the comments if you think I should have used that suggestion. Let's move forward. I think that sentence may be a little bit easier to read now. Now, with that said, the article or letter to your potential new client would not necessarily need to contain any slang. You might not want to use any slang at all when writing a letter intended for professional use. Okay, so I do think that sentence is a little easier to read now. Too long didn't read version, that's what TLDR is. Too long didn't read, TLDR. Grammarly is a writing tool that gives you the ability to effortlessly check and correct several types of errors in any article, paper, email, text message, or whatever you're writing. So let's see what we can do to improve the clarity of this sentence. They're saying it's too hard to read. Readability, hard to read sentence. A general audience might find this sentence hard to read. Consider removing any unnecessary words, splitting it into 2 sentences. All right, so let's see what we can do to improve the readability of this sentence. Grammarly is a writing tool that gives you the ability to effortlessly check and correct several types of errors in any article. Errors. Period. Now let's put be it in an article, paper, Let's get rid of paper. Let's put essay. Be it in an article, essay, email, text message, or whatever you're writing. There we go. Grammarly is a writing tool that gives you the ability to effortlessly check and correct several types of errors, be it in an article, essay, email, text message, or whatever you're writing. I think that looks good. So that is the first paragraph. What is Grammarly? And now we are going to go down to the second one. What does Grammarly do? So let's copy all of this and before the image. Control C that. And we will go down. Down, 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 down. Control V that. Alright. Got quite a few suggestions here. What does Grammarly do? Too long didn't read version at the very top on this one. It should have been at the very top on the last one. I can fix that. That's not enough. That's not something that's necessarily Grammarly's fault, because it's just helping me with the grammar, not the format of the article itself. That's me being inconsistent with the format of the article. And I might fix that before I even publish this article and publish the review on YouTube. So we'll see about that. Alright, what does Grammarly do? Too long didn't read. Grammarly, both free and premium versions. What's wrong there? Comma. I missed a comma. Detect grammar and punctuation mistakes. Grammarly also provides on-the-fly suggestions on how to correct any mistakes that may have occurred. This is overusage of the word. So we'll use a variety. Any errors that may have occurred. Errors work. I don't use errors too much because I have difficulty spelling words with two letters, like error. It has two R's in it, so I may have ended up putting one R in there. But the built-in spell checker would have caught that error, so can't really give Grammarly too much credit for that one. I mean, well, it made the suggestion for me to use the word errors instead of mistakes. For some reason, I think mistakes is easier to spell. Anyway, so that's fixed. Spell checking. Spell check. Grammarly has one of, if not the best spell checkers I have ever used, period. However, comma, we cannot oh my gosh, they're talking about the curliness of the apostrophe. Straight, see, it's got the straight and then they got the curly. That's okay. We'll go with that. Let's go with the curly. I like the curly. Updated. Alright. I don't even know how to change that when I'm writing an article. I think that's something within right here, my own website. It just uses what it wants to use. And that's probably going to get changed back once I copy it over and then I change the font to the font that I'm going to use. Spell check. Grammarly has one of, if not the best spell checkers I have ever used, period. However, we can't and should not give Grammarly too much credit for including a spell checker into the software, both basic and premium. Excuse me. Simply because it's a standard issue across most platforms such as PC and mobile devices. So unfortunately, no big win there for Grammarly, but, comma, Mr. Comma. As I mentioned, comma, Grammarly does have one of the best spell checkers, in case you're wondering. Now, why weren't those punctuation errors picked up in the free version, or did I miss it? Should I have run this through the free version again? I think I must have missed it. There's no way that the free version missed those punctuation errors. Unless I've made some changes later on when I posted that article. I'm going to check that a little later in the video and report back if the free version missed it. I'm going to create a new account in Grammarly, a free account, and run this article through the free version and see if any punctuation errors pop up. There shouldn't be any punctuation errors popping up. Well, there should be, actually. The punctuation is standard feature on the free version, and it should pop up when I run this article through, which would mean I just missed some things when I originally wrote the article with the free version of Grammarly. I don't see how, because all right, so let's move forward. Blah blah blah. See, let's let a synonym. Let's see what synonym. Essential or underlying. The word basic is often overused. Consider using a more specific synonym to improve the sharpness of your writing. All right, so we can't and should not give Grammarly too much credit for including a spell checker into the software, both basic and premium, simply because it's standard issue. Now we're going to stick with basic because it's descriptive of the service that you're getting with the free version of Grammarly. I don't think the essential and premium version would make this sentence cohesive. I think it would take away from the cohesiveness of the sentence if I use essential or underlying. It just doesn't fit with the sentence. So we're going to ignore that suggestion. We can hit the trash can right there because that would just destroy the clarity of the sentence. See, we want to keep that clarity good. But it's missing that. It's not perfect, you know? Nothing is. So, moving forward, that sentence looks good. Plagiarism. This feature is super duper handy, especially if you are a blogger, professional writer, hobby writer, student, or anyone that produces written content on a regular basis with the intent of that content being posted and seen somewhere on the internet. Let's see what suggestions are made. Hard to read sentence. Remove any unnecessary words, splitting it into two sentences. I don't think this sentence is hard to read. Let's read it again. This feature is super duper handy, especially if you are a blogger, professional writer, hobby writer, student, or anyone that produces written content on a regular basis with the intent of that content being posted and seen somewhere on the internet. All right, it can be improved. Admittedly so, it can be improved. So, this feature is super duper handy, especially if you are a blogger. We'll go to the end of that list. Blah, blah, blah. Written content. Or anyone that produces written content on a regular basis. Let's put the period there. Now, that doesn't flow with the intent. Especially if the intent of that content is being posted, is to be. No. Especially if the intent, I can get rid of your. Especially if the intent of that content is for it to be posted. Especially if the intent of that content is for it to be posted and seen somewhere on the internet. Perfect. This feature is super duper handy, especially if you are a blogger, professional writer, hobby writer, student, or anyone that produces written content on a regular basis. What's wrong with that? On a regular basis. Okay. What is wrong with this now? Oh, I can get rid of all of that. Especially if, or anyone that produces written content regularly. That's nice. I like that. Shorter paragraph. Less wordy. This review is pretty long. The written review is kind of long, but it is an in-depth written review. So, I mean, there's a lot of detail in here about how Grammarly works and how it doesn't work. Or it does work, not how it doesn't work. I'm not trying to say that. It does work. So, there's a lot of detail in this article about how well Grammarly works. So, it's going to be a pretty long article. Not excessively long. It's an easy, probably 10-15 minute read. Not that bad. Alright, so let's move on to the next paragraph. Let's see if I can pick it up on my own. Without the ability to check your content for plagiarism, as it might be seen through the algorithms of many search engines, you will run the risk of your content being deranked. Let's see what I can do here. We already know that this means hard to read sentence, remove any unnecessary words, splitting it into two sentences. Unfortunately, quite often, as you've seen, the readability function doesn't offer too many suggestions when you have a long underline. A long blue underline is not offering any suggestions on how you can improve the functionality, how you can improve the readability of that sentence. You'll just have to figure that out on your own. It is pointing it out to you. So at this point, when you're trying to figure that out, you'll just have to let your creative juices flow and read it again, and then figure out a way to make it a little bit more clear. Yeah. Without the ability to check your content for plagiarism, as it might be seen through the see, that is confusing. How can I reword this? Without the ability to check your content for plagiarism, I'm going to have to rewrite this entire sentence. Let's start at the beginning. Having the ability to check your content for plagiarism is almost critical. Now, I do want to fit that section about why does it have my period highlighted. It's kind of hard to see, but it is highlighted. Many search engines may perceive your content to be duplicate content, aka plagiarism. I spelled duplicate wrong. And content, aka, aka plagiarism. I spelled plagiarism wrong? Oh yeah, I did. What's wrong with that? I don't want to use the word piracy. Well, piracy is harsh. So is plagiarism. I use the word plagiarism too much. See, it says it right there. So we'll go with piracy. Having the ability to check your content for plagiarism is almost critical. I put maybe. Why didn't they pick that? Well, maybe maybe is a word, so, but it doesn't make sense. Many search engines may perceive your content to be duplicate content, aka piracy. This means your content will never show up for any relevant search inquiry on any major search engine. No, we're going to stick with major. I don't think it's overused, not in this situation. On any major search engine. Obviously, this is not ideal, so to combat the possibility of this happening, it is always a good idea to run your content through a plagiarism checker, such as the one that comes in the premium version of Grammarly. Removing unnecessary words, splitting it into two sentences. Let me read that sentence again, because I'm not totally convinced that that sentence is difficult to read. Obviously, this is not ideal, so to combat the possibility of this happening, it is always a good idea to run your content through a plagiarism checker. I can put a period here, and it won't really change too much. Comma, I missed that right there. I have to put a comma after happening. Obviously, this is not ideal, so to combat the possibility of this happening, it's always a good idea to run your content through a plagiarism checker, such as the one that comes in the premium version of Grammarly. And I did put a period there. I think a comma would be more appropriate. I feel like this doesn't flow well. Such as the one that comes in a premium version of Grammarly. No, it's okay. Pricing, if there's one thing that I'm not so thrilled about, is pricing. At $11.66 per month, no, the price is not bad at all. And I would absolutely pay $11.66 per month for an individual plan. The problem is that it requires a 1-year commitment to take advantage of that price, and we don't really need the rest of that. If you're really interested in all of the details, you can read, through the article. Actually, this is a video review, so you may want that type of information. I'll read it out to you. It's right there in writing. You can check it out on the website, but I'll read it out to you as well. So the pricing is $11.66 per month if you take advantage of the 1-year plan, which requires you to pay for the entire 12 months up front, which comes out to a total of $139.92 up front. Now, it's a big lump of money that's kind of required for you to get that $11.66 per month pricing. And a lot of people just don't want to spend that type of money on something that's designed to correct grammar. Unless, you're a professional, you're a student. But, I mean, that's a decent price. However, they should offer an option. In my opinion, I think they should offer an option where you can just pay $11.66 per month and cancel whenever you want. They do offer monthly options, but the monthly option is $29.95 per month. That's for a 1-month period. So if you only want to do 1 month and try out premium, you can opt for the $29.95 per month price point and then upgrade later to the 1-year plan, which will save you significantly if you do plan on using Grammarly for an entire year and then renewing it every year at the annual rate. They might as well just say it's an annual rate because it pretty much is an annual rate, but if you break the annual rate down over a 12-month period, it's $11.66 per month. So that's always an option. Get the 1-month plan, and you could even possibly call them up and ask them, say, hey, I paid for the 1-month plan. I want to continue and get a 1-year plan. Is there any type of way that you can discount that retroactively towards my 1-year subscription? I don't know if they'll do it, but it's always worth asking. There's no harm in asking. The worst thing that can happen is they say no, and if you don't like it, you can choose not to proceed with their service, or you can just proceed with their service. I mean, it's a good service, I think. I like it. Definitely comes in handy, especially if you're a writer, a blogger, or someone like me who posts reviews quite often. It's something it's a great tool to have in your toolbox. So now, with that said, I'm going to conclude this review, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts because that's what this last paragraph is about. I'm going to tell you what my final thoughts are. So, while Grammarly is not perfect, and as you can see while I was writing this review, there was a lot of errors that it didn't pick up. Well, there wasn't a whole lot of errors that it didn't pick up, but there was some wording issues that that I saw that I thought that didn't make sense, and Grammarly didn't pick up on that. And there was also some suggestions that Grammarly made that I didn't quite like. So you can always choose to ignore those suggestions and proceed forward and check each suggestion that it makes to make sure that it makes sense before you just simply go ahead and say, oh, let's fix it all. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that because it can mess up your article, and especially if you don't proofread it afterwards. Now, I didn't run this through the plagiarism checker. So before we sign out of this review, let's run this through the plagiarism checker and see what results we get. Where is the plagiarism checker? The assistant is hidden. So let's hide the assistant. We did that already. Let's start the assistant. Now, where is the plagiarism checker? Where are they hiding that feature? Is it automatic? Oh, plagiarism, right there. Let's close that up. I'm gonna copy and paste this because I don't know what's gonna happen. Control A. I'm gonna copy it and then just paste it to WordPad. Just in case something goes wrong, I will have it ready to go. Oh my God, this is so slow. Look at that. They can't fix WordPad. What's going on, Windows? Alright, so man, that is such a laggy program. Alright, so plagiarism. Plagiarism check. That's down here at the bottom, as you can see. Let's click that and see what we got. Alright, please wait. We are checking your text against billions of web pages. It'll take just a moment. It'll just take a moment. Let's wait and see what happens. There we go. Alright, so we look good. 1% of your text matches this source. What is the abbreviation, for example? The word counter / abbreviation for text. Copy. Click to copy reference. What is the abbreviation, for example? Oh, that's probably because it's one match right here. Learn more. That's probably because this is a direct quote from Grammarly's website. So maybe that's the 1%. Click to copy reference. Alright, let's copy the reference. Reference copy to clipboard. Now, let's paste that clipboard and see what the heck they're talking about. The wordcounter.com abbreviation, for example. I don't get this. And what does it match? Oh, it looks like this is a review of Grammarly as well. Yeah, not quite as good as mine, but it's there. So 1%. 52% plagiarism. What? What are you talking about? 52%. Need help with English or writing? That's me. Oh, look at that. I wrote that. 98% of your text matches this source. It should match that source. I'm glad it even indexed my page. My page was found. That's good. That means that okay, it's searching the web. That's the page that this review is going to appear on. So 98% of it should match. Now, if I ignore that because that's the page that I'm putting this on, what will I get? 52% plagiarism. What is this? Come on, come on. Let's see. What's my score now? 1% plagiarism. Fantastic. I'm okay with that. Like I said earlier, billions, millions, hundreds, thousands, lots of websites, lots of different web pages. So the chances of you having like a 0% plagiarism score, that's very hard, very difficult. I mean, I guess it's achievable if you address these things as shown in what's shown here. You to convey the message and tone. You. That isn't even relevant to the same type of content. The best mice for, what's this? Not even relevant. Now, with a 1% plagiarism score, I don't think you'll have any issues getting your content listed on any search engine or indexed in any search engine. You should be just fine. Yeah, I like that. That's fantastic, that plagiarism checker. Alright, well, this concludes the review. Is it worth it? Absolutely, it's worth it. Especially if you can get it at $11.66 per month. I highly recommend that you at least do the 1 month trial, $29.95 per month. Try that out. Make sure that the premium version is a good fit for you, and make sure that it works out well for you. I'm pretty sure this review will help you out with that. Do I recommend it? Yes, I do recommend it. It's definitely worth it, and I don't recommend it at $29.95 per month every month. That's almost 3 times the price of the $11.66. So I mean, if you're going to use it for a year, then I don't know. Maybe you'd want to pay for the whole year and then see if you could get a refund if you don't want to use it. Don't do that. That's not a good idea. But you could pay for it quarterly. I think quarterly was $19.98 a month. If you pay for it quarterly, that would be like 4 months. So you got a little bit of options. It's a good service to have. They do need to improve their pricing plan, in my opinion. But, you know, 2 thumbs up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell for notifications, and make sure you comment down below. Tell me what you think about this review. Tell me what you think about Grammarly if you've used it in the past. And tell me which article you think looks better, the free version that I did or the premium version of the article. So, alright, I'm gonna have to fix that free version. I'm gonna run the free version again through the checker because I think I missed a lot. Looks like I missed a lot that showed up in the premium version. Anyway, let's end this video. Thanks for watching. Peace.